What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and this is an absolute beginner guide to improvisation. I can guarantee that by the end of this tutorial, you will be able to improvise. Improv is one of the scariest topics for intermediate sax players because there is no music and you just have to figure out what to play. But if you start at the beginning, it's actually extremely easy. The problem is when you hear the word improvisation, you automatically think about insane jazz solos that sound like this. Or this. And playing like that is definitely not the starting place. Also, there is a ton of bad advice out there, like just play what you feel. In the beginning, when you don't know how to improvise, you don't feel anything and you don't know what to play, so you can't play what you feel. Another thing is starting off with a whole bunch of theory. Theory is awesome, but if when you're starting to try to improvise, you're talking about 2-5-1s, tritone substitutions, secondary dominants, those are all way, way, way above the beginner level. So start at the beginning. So where is the beginning? Where should you start your improv journey? It's really simple. You're actually going to start off with just making something up from scratch. After all, that's what improvisation is. And in the beginning, we want to keep it really simple and limit what you're going to play. So to start off, you want to think about improvising using just one note and playing a cool rhythm for 2 measures. So in this example, I'm going to play just a G, I'm going to put a rhythm on it, and I'm going to play it for 2 measures. I'll count myself in so that you can feel the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's improvising. You're taking a set of notes and coming up with a rhythm. That's all improvisation is. This is very, very basic, simple improv, but that is your starting point. Take a listen. I'll come up with another idea or a few more ideas just using a G and playing 2 measures at a time. Here's another one. So start off with one note playing 2 measure phrases at a time. Once you're comfortable with that, then play longer than 2 measure phrases, but try to make it feel like you're playing 2 measures at a time, because in the world of music, 2 measure phrases equal a musical sentence. So that's it. That's improvisation. A couple minutes into this tutorial and you already know how to improvise, and I'm sure if you pause this video, get out your saxophone and start playing, you would be able to make up a rhythm on one note and play it for 2 measures. You can improvise. But you don't want to play one note solos forever, so we need to add in the next note. You might be thinking, what notes do I add next? As a beginner, you're probably not going to know that. So a really good starting point is to use something like the pentatonic scale, the blues scale, or the major scale. Personally, I like to start my students off with the blues scale because the blues scale already sounds like a musical idea, so it's way easier to improvise with it. That's the blues scale, and as I said, it already sounds like a musical idea, so once you start to add in some of the basic principles and concepts with improvisation, it's really easy to make it sound like a solo. All right, we already know how to play 1-note solos, so let's move on to a 2-note solo. To do this, we are going to use the G blues scale. So the second note of the G blues scale is a B flat. In musical terms, we would call that B flat a flat third. So it's a flat third because B is the third note of the G scale, G, A, B, and we have lowered it by a half step, so we're going to call it a flat third. You don't necessarily need to know that theory, but that's why I'm calling it a flat third. All you really need to know is that we're going to improvise using two notes this time, and those notes are G and B flat. Now, since we're going to use two notes, you can repeat your G's and you can repeat your B flats. You don't have to just go back and forth between them. You can repeat them to give you a little bit more variety. This is what it sounds like. G, B flat. Improvising using just those two notes. That already sounds way better than a one-note solo. I'm going to jam out on the G and B flat for a little bit. I'll be playing in 2-bar phrases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Improvisation, it's sounding better as we add in more notes. So let's talk about the third note to add. If you look at the G blues scale, the next note that you would think we are going to add is the C, but we are not going to add the C. We are going to add the F, which is the flat 7, and we are going to put that F on the bottom. So we're going to play F, G, B flat. These are your notes. Now, we're putting that F on the bottom because it's going to make it easier for us to come up with ideas. And in the beginning, we really just want to build confidence. That's one of your first goals, is to build confidence in making things up from scratch. So if you can pick some notes that are going to make it easier to come up with musical ideas, that will make your life a whole lot easier, and you're going to be able to build confidence quicker. So the three notes that we're going to use are F, which is the flat 7, G, which is the 1, and B flat, which is the flat third. Now, because we have three notes, we can repeat any of the notes and we can jump back and forth between them. So you don't have to just go up F, G, B flat or down B flat, G, F. You can skip from the F up to the B flat. So in other words, you can play any of those three notes in any order and you can repeat those notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. When I add in the F, it opens up a lot of doors. You can come up with a whole lot more ideas and your solos are just going to sound a whole lot better. Even though we're playing three-note solos, they sound like complete ideas. Sounds cool with just three notes. All right, let's add the next note, and this one is going to be the fourth in the G blues scale, which is the C. So our four notes are F, G, B flat, and C. That C really sounds good, and it gives us some really cool stuff to play. As you can hear, the more notes I add in, the better it sounds, but you want to take it one step or one note at a time, especially in the beginning, because you want to build confidence. You want it to feel easy as you're moving through all of these steps of adding in new notes. All right, we've got the first four notes down. The next step would be obviously to add in each of the remaining notes of the blues scale. You do it one note at a time. This is what it sounds like when you add in all of the notes. I'm using the blues scale, but it does not sound like a scale at all. It sounds like an improvisation idea or phrase. Here is a really big tip. When you are playing, you want to use dynamics and articulation and play it like you mean it. Don't just play the notes flat and dull like you're afraid of them, or it will sound really bad. That has no life. Add in some dynamics, add in some articulation, and have fun when you are playing. If you're looking for step-by-step lessons on how to improvise on the saxophone, I do have an improv course in my sax school where I will teach you how to improvise on over 20 songs. In the course, we start at the very beginning, and by the end, you will be able to weave your way through complex chord changes and play really hip improvisation lines. The good news is, once you're able to improvise using the blues scale and you feel confident with it, it'll be really easy to transfer that skill onto any other scale that you want to improvise with, especially if you really took your time and built a strong foundation. After gaining confidence improvising with the blues scale, the next step would be to improvise using the Mixolydian scale and start talking about chord symbols and how chords work together. But this is an absolute beginner guide to improvisation, so we're going to stop here today. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. I hope that now you understand the absolute basics of improvisation. And if you'd like to dive deeper into my saxophone world, come check me out at the Scott Paddock Sax School.